Welcome back to Beyond the Pulpit.
Yeah.
Super excited to be here with y'all today. This season, we've been focusing on exponential because that was our God word for 2025. And we've been talking about exponential impact and what exponential faith looks like around the world. And so we're super excited to have you with us today. We have Jon and Jenn Barratt from Project Rescue, executive directors of Project Rescue with us.
Or Jennifer. Do you like Jen or Jennifer? Because your husband calls you Jennifer.
Do I?
I also call him Jonathan, but we are good with the world calling us Jon and Jenn.
Yeah, Jon and Jen.
It flows.
Yeah.
It flows
Wow.
really nice.
It's like
it
a
rolls off the
celebrity.
tongue, you know?
We're going to talk about your celebrity status in a little bit
Yeah. So
because they're
excited,
more
yeah.
than just Project Rescue. They're
Yes,
like
yes.
world celebrities in
Yeah.
the sports world that
Okay.
I don't know a lot about, but
Right.
we're going to have fun there too.
Yeah.
But going back to Project Rescue,
Project Rescue, that's why
yes,
we're
because you guys have been a vital part of equipping and expanding the work of rescue, restoration, and all being gospel centered. And so we're excited to have this conversation with you guys today. So thank you for being with us.
Awesome to be
Honored
here with
to
you
be
guys.
here.
Yeah.
Yeah,
Excited.
I want you to introduce yourselves and tell a little bit about your story. And we have some commonalities is you both transitioned in leading Project Rescue 3 years ago. And we transitioned in officially 2 years ago, but we're on the journey of leading for 3 years so far. And so there's common. We have some interesting stories to tell each other. But Pastor Andrea was talking about that 2025 was the year of exponential. And then recently I shared the vision for 2026, which is the word go. And so it's so incredible how the timing of all this has worked because literally what you guys have invested and continue to invest your life in and your parents invested their life in was the whole concept of going and making disciples while healing and restoring people. And so it's just incredible. And so I want to make sure that we cover that and we talk about that and unpack that a little bit. But before we do all of that, tell us a little bit about yourselves and then also about why I said that you're a famous sports
You want
guy.
me to? Okay.
We want to hear all about your baseball card and
Yeah.
how we are in a room with celebrities
yes.
and we were walking down the street just now, downtown Bethlehem. People were stopping you to take pictures with you.
Yeah.
They were.
So we can lie on this podcast. Like that's
No, this is an honest podcast, Jonathan. All right. But go ahead. Tell us a little bit about
go ahead,
yourself.
Jen. Go ahead.
All right. Well, I'm Jenn Barratt and have worked with Project Rescue officially for the last decade, but I have been around it my whole entire life. So my parents founded Project Rescue in 1997 when I was 12 years old.
Wow.
So I got to be a part of it from the very beginning and see how their yes to the Lord, to just an opportunity that presented itself, turned into so many lives changed. And for us, we'll get into this more later, I know, but for us, the life change is really the most important part, not just the rescue, but the restoration that we believe is possible in Jesus. And so growing up with that, I was 12 and tracking with other 12-year-old girls who had been rescued. And I got to grow up alongside of them and see how the Lord's plan of rescue and restoration actually works, right? In a world where many would call the women and the children that we work with hopeless and that they couldn't really find full healing and a new life. I've been able to watch it and say, yes, it's actually possible. And so honored to be a part of it. So my role now is executive director. I really focus on the program and ministry side of it, providing spiritual leadership for our network. We are in 16 countries around the world. And and then met this guy in high school.
Okay.
Oh, you guys met in high school.
High school sweethearts. Yeah.
Aw.
Way back when.
Wait, but I thought you were in Boston. You're from...
We moved. So I moved from Boston to Springfield, Missouri at 13 years old. And she was overseas at the time. And she moved to Springfield at the same age to base there.
So your family has been AG.
Yeah.
Your entire...
my entire life.
I thought you...
No.
By marriage.
Nope. I was
Got it.
raised in
you're
an Assemblies of God
full-blooded AG.
church since I was an infant. So
And why did your parents move to Springfield? Because normally that's, from what I understand, researching AG a little bit, like
Assemblies of God.
Assemblies of
For
God,
people that
sorry.
don't know what AG is.
Assemblies of God that's like the
national
epicenter,
headquarters, yes.
the epicenter of Assemblies of God. Were your parents involved in the Assemblies of God from a leadership perspective?
They
or
were
missionaries?
not. They were not. So we were at an Assemblies of God church up in Boston on the North Shore in Malden, Massachusetts. And my parents just one day, I remember they came home and said, hey, your dad feels called to go to Bible school. And it's Central Bible College in Springfield, Missouri. And I have 3 other brothers, and we were like, there's no way this is happening. Like we have a fully settled life. He's, supervisor of a paint company. My mom's a nurse. Like,
And their entire extended family was there. Like no one left.
0
Yeah.
people in Missouri. Like none of our family, extended or otherwise, were in Missouri. But they felt strongly about it, had some wet fleece God moments where it was going to happen. So all that to say, we moved when I was 13 years old. She moved at the same time.
Like about a year later.
About a year
So he
later,
kind of
yeah.
settled, and then I showed up about a year later, relocated from overseas for a period of
And
time.
at first sight, we disliked each other so much.
That's true.
Is that how it worked?
Yeah.
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 Our story was a little different. She
Oh, here we go.
pursued me like crazy.
Oh.
It was almost obsessive.
I'm
It
not
was.
sure if I
It was
believe
almost a
Not
little
true.
weird. It
Okay,
was
back to
almost a little
them.
weird. But sorry, it's all
Back
about
to
you.
them.
It's all about you.
Yeah.
Go ahead.
So we dated in high school when she finally allowed us to date senior year. So initially, like there was nothing could happen. Everything was in the day and nothing was a date. But until senior year, then we were allowed to date. But
There's so much pressure at nighttime. You know what I mean? Nighttime dates.
she'd always say, I'm like, why can't we go out at
We
night?
tell our kids nothing good
My
happens.
dad always
after
said
dark.
yes.
That's what I
her
hear.
dad would say all the time.
Yeah,
Nothing
so
good
I
happened
said,
after
we can
dark.
go to lunch.
So anyway, so we dated senior year, and then through college, after college, we got married and kind of started the journey together.
How old were you guys when you were married? Got married?
22.
Yeah,
Oh, you were young.
yeah, pretty young.
You missed something in between there.
I
though.
knew.
I know. I'll help him. So he played baseball and he was amazing. He was really talented. I did not understand his talent because I did not come from a sports appreciating family. We didn't watch sports. My dad doesn't. My dad thinks sports is a waste of time. And so
There's too much ministry to do.
Oh yeah.
Exactly. And so I heard that he was a good baseball player. So to be a supportive girlfriend, I started going to his games. And then our senior year, we started hearing that scouts were showing up at the games. And I was like, I don't know what that means, but that sounds exciting. I'll, glue his little name to my shirt. I'll make a shirt as a supportive girlfriend.
Did you really do that?
Absolutely, I did. I know.
You never did that for me.
You didn't play baseball.
Well,
I didn't pay attention at the games, but I was there and so supportive. And then
So I was drafted by the Tampa Bay Rays, and I remember when I was drafted, I went to her house because I was so excited. It was like one of the coolest.
so this would have been like you were drafted at what age?
18
high
out of high
school.
school.
right
Out of
on.
high school.
Yeah,
Right.
fifth round draft pick. I got in the car, drove to her house, was so excited. And I kid you not, she thought it was the military draft.
I
so
never
she was
heard of
like,
a sports draft.
Oh.
I'd only heard of a
wait a
military
second.
draft.
So like they're gonna force you to go play like baseball? Like you have to? And I was like, I don't have to. I get to. Like this is the dream. This is
And then he told me I was drafted in the fifth draft, and for some
Fifth
the
round.
fifth round, and for some reason I thought there was only 5, and I was like, ah.
so she's like patting me on the shoulder.
I know nothing about-
So back when I was drafted in 03, there was 50 rounds.
Oh wow.
Oh, wow.
So, yeah,
So
it
you
was-
were good.
Yeah.
He was good.
Wow. He just said, yeah.
I know.
He just said, yeah.
He was good.
So we, from a pretty young age, we had our life mapped out that we were going to be donors. Like when people talked about kingdom builders from a giving standpoint, that was us. We weren't going to go, we were going to send. Because for us, that was the only two options.
Send.
Because
Give
money,
and
because of
support.
the money you
yeah.
were planning on
Oh,
making.
Right.
and I really did, like, I thought that was what I was supposed to do. I was going to make the money. I was going to be, on the larger stage and
And
be
there
able
are
to.
reasons for that too, right?
Yeah.
So he wasn't a typical baseball player. He was shorter than most baseball players. He was always the one who everyone thought that he was the bat boy.
Yeah.
But he could throw
The bat boy.
insanely.
Meaning the person who brought the bats out?
Yes.
Got it.
What position were you?
I was a left-handed pitcher. So my first year in spring training, I walked in and nobody thought I was a player. Like I weighed about 136 pounds. Like it was, like looking back, I'm like, my goodness, I was a child among men. And but I could throw hard. I was left-handed. I could throw 95, 96, 97 miles
Wow.
an hour. So I just felt like, this is what I'm supposed to do. Clearly
Yeah.
God gave me.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Because why else would a little, I'm so small. Why else? So
Yeah.
anyways, so that went for about 6 years, and due to some
Wow,
injuries.
you played for the Rays for 6 years.
In their organization. So not necessarily with the big league team, but working their way through their minor league system. But it was like 2008 where I had some shoulder injuries, finished. Devastated. Like felt like the world just collapsed underneath me. Like struggled for solid 2 years, like with the goodness of God. Is he good? Like I've was grown up and told like such a good father. Like in those 2 years, like question that.
Really wrestled, right?
Really, really wrestled.
Because your identity got
Oh my! And I
rocked.
didn't realize how much it was wrapped up in baseball. I thought it wasn't, and it was, and so it was just so devastating. So, anyways, at that time, that's when her dad, again, he founded Project Rescue about 10 years prior to that. He came to me and said, "Why don't you come work with Project Rescue?" And I said, "Don't judge me." I said, "I'm not working for a nonprofit. There's nothing to be made. You know, if I'm not going to be famous and wealthy, I'm at least going to be wealthy." Like that was kind of my posture at that point, because I was still a little frustrated with God. But 08, 09, terrible job scenario, great recession. So finally I said, all right, I'll do this for 1 year. I'm not traveling overseas, and I'm never speaking in front of people. Like, that was kind of my
Drew the line in the
my
sand.
millennial
When did you guys
demands.
get married?
Yeah.
We got married in 07. So
same
near
year
the
we got
end-
married.
Oh, really?
Yeah.
There are so many similarities. So near the end of his career, but he was still, he'd be gone 6 months and back 6 months, and I'd been getting my degree. I became a registered nurse, and he was doing like business school on the side. So we got married, and then he left that spring to go play, and that was when he got injured and got released. And then he's looking for a job. Again, his degree is in business and finance, and it was 08, 09, the recession. He could not find anything at that time. And so my persistent father figured it out.
And it was a begrudging yes to work with Project Rescue. And it was 6 months into that first year that I had one of those God encounters where you just, you know that you know. It wasn't audible. I don't know if I could handle an audible voice, to be honest, but it was just, I knew that I knew God was just, the word kept being serve. You're going to serve Project Rescue. So I remember 09 stepping into Project Rescue feeling like this can't be long. There's no way I can do this. And I'm so far over my head on this. Like, I don't know where to begin. It's the antithesis of what I thought I'd be doing in just so many different ways. So yeah, just started that journey. And then it was.
So then he was working with Project Rescue with my parents, and I was working as a registered nurse, again, like volunteering, and we'd travel for Project Rescue sometimes, on my breaks I'd take time off from work or whatever, but it was about a decade in, and I just felt like the Lord just kept nudging me and just saying, I don't want you on the
This
sidelines.
was 2016.
Yeah.
Right, so 2016, 2017.
Yeah.
And I just knew he didn't want me on the sidelines of the fight anymore. He wanted me in the middle of it. And so I told him, standing in our kitchen, I think I'm supposed to come back to Project Rescue. And he was like, he got all protective. Don't do it just because it's the family thing to do. You have to feel called. And I was offended.
Yeah.
How are you? Who are you?
It was a
to,
fun
keep me
conversation.
from Project Rescue. But anyway, so moved over full time with Project Rescue, and now I guess this last decade we've been doing it as a family.
Yeah.
Wow.
Yeah.
Yep.
Wow. It's great. Thank you for being so open and authentic about your story and sharing,
Yeah.
just the rawness of where you were in those moments and the simple yes, right? Even the begrudging yes. But I want to talk about, because this is legacy, because your parents were the ones that founded this, right?
Yeah.
So how do you guys have stepped in, taken, the baton to move forward with it. So what's that been like for you to carry that legacy forward? Not just honoring them, but then with vision for the future, for where God has you guys taking Project Rescue.
Before you answer that, what's really cool, I was thinking about as you were sharing your story, is we talked about the word go. And through everything that you just said, there were these moments where you had a choice to go, right? Each of you individually. And I didn't realize until we had breakfast a little while ago that you were a registered nurse before. I don't know if we told you that Annabelle that's what she wants to do. Yeah. So, as you answer the question, if you can help those who are listening and watching to kind of correlate that call of go, that activation principle in what you share.
Yeah.
if that makes sense.
Yeah, absolutely. I think first and foremost, we are both so grateful for the legacy that we received from my parents, that we were handed, that we are honored to try to carry that forward into the future. So grateful for the blessing of their faith and everything that they invested. And I can't imagine following two better people, right? It's not that this transition hasn't been without its challenges, but just in general, we are so grateful. That is like the overwhelming emotion. But there's also such a responsibility that comes with it, right? I am aware of the blessing, but I'm also very aware of the weight of it, of carrying this forward and stewarding it well, right? It was placed in our hands in such good condition, a ministry that's full of integrity and making such an impact. And we are now tasked with protecting that legacy, stewarding it well, the blessings that God has poured out on Project Rescue, the connections that we have, the influence that we have. How are we going to steward that? Protect it, build it, take what God has put in our hands, grow it, and then propel it forward. So for me, it's not about preserving it and leaving it as it was, because the Project Rescue of the first 25 years needed the call that David and Beth had, and it needed their giftings. But we believe that the Project Rescue of the next 25, the next 50 needs something different. And so we very much operate in a place of, Lord, give us wisdom, give us fresh vision. And for us, thankfully, we have a great relationship with my parents. And so we try to keep them involved in it. But we believe that the vision for moving forward doesn't change that legacy. It just continues to grow on it.
Yeah.
And that's really our hope.
Just the
That's
couple,
really good.
The couple things that come to mind for me is I remember prior to stepping into Project Rescue, probably me more than you, but we were both in a certain way terrified a little bit. Just the weight of, I remember going into her dad's office one time and I said, does it ever weigh on you the fact that literally thousands of women and children rely on you to provide for them? Just the weight of that, the burden. And he goes, Jon, do you hear me all the time? What do I say? I say, this is God's mission. You hear me say that, right? I said, yeah, I hear you say that. He goes, also, do you believe you're called to this? I said, 100%. He goes, that's all you need to know. He says, you're available. This is his ministry. Let God take care of the rest. Like, don't strive. Really don't think that it's on you. He's like, if you think that I've got this done up to this point, I've been available, but God's taken care of so much. And then when you talk about the word go, I'm thinking back to 2016, and I think back to if you were to tell me in 2016, hey, in 9 years, you're going to be leading this. There's no way I'm ready for that. So the go is a series of yeses.
Yeah, that's really good.
The next step. If you were to take me from 2016 to 2025, Jon isn't ready to lead. But the next yes, which even at that time, that yes is like, this doesn't make sense.
Right.
I'm not great at that, but it stretched me. Then the next yes stretched me in a different way. And now all of a sudden, here we are in 2025, and it's like, God is giving us fresh vision. Like all the things we thought would never come. It's sort of like God saying, I just need to season your faith a little bit. You weren't ready. Now you are. And so,
really good.
And also that vision in little bits too. Like you were saying yesterday, we were blessed to be there when you shared about the vision. And you were saying that the year before you felt a stop in your spirit halfway through that verse, right? So it's like you needed part of the vision and then for the next season. So I think that's where we're at too, right? He's just downloading bits for us to say yes to.
I really feel like, and you were saying this yesterday, a word for especially the younger generation is don't wait for the perfect yes. Don't
really
wait
good.
for that. What is the next? What's in your hands right now? Because I promise you, your next best yes may not make sense. In fact, it may be out of your comfort zone. It may be out of your strengths, but it could be what is the ultimate yes that God has for you a year, 2 years, 5 years down the road.
So it's that preparation. He's preparing you for something greater. Doesn't make sense now. Maybe completely different than what you thought, but it's But say yes.
Yeah, it's interesting because what I was going to ask you as a follow-up question to what you were saying about the yeses was for those that are listening, to encourage them wherever they're at, how to move forward. And you answered it before I even asked it, which is just what are you doing with what's in your hand?
Right.
Like I was thinking as you guys were talking, I was thinking about the yeses that I made years and years and years ago. Right. I remember recently, maybe 5 years ago, someone came up to me at church and they said, I want to do more. I want to do more. And I was like, okay, there's this you can do. And this, no, I don't want to do that. This you do. No, I don't want to do that. And I was like, well, what do you want to do? And they said, I want your job.
Yes.
And I was like, well, you need to understand that I didn't just walk up and get my job. I didn't just walk up and get my role. It started when I was 14 years old and said yes to Jesus as a suicidal teenager, right? It started then from there, just having a passion for building the church, and I would clean bathrooms and I would be the first one to come in and the last one to leave. And it started with, willing to do anything for the senior pastor and, going on mission trips and doing being, a servant, being available. And so it was those little yeses, right, that prepared us for now. And we talk about it from our own transition where there was a period in time, even, where we felt like, okay, we just want this to be done. Just let us step in. We just want this to be done. And we realized there were moments, especially in the beginning, we weren't ready.
Yeah.
Right? We were not ready to step in. And not that, of course, there's always, you look back and you go, maybe this could have been a little shorter. But there was a period where it was like, no, we were not ready. Or would the organization have thrived? Probably. But we would have experienced some pain that we didn't need to experience because we weren't ready, if that makes sense. And so, I think that's really, if there's anything that anybody gets out of this podcast is what we just said. That's huge, right? God just wants your yes. Go ahead.
Absolutely.
Yeah, please jump in.
I just had two other thoughts. So you had said, don't wait. There's no perfect yes, right? Don't wait till it's perfect. And for those who are asking questions like, what am I supposed to do? It's not the perfect opportunity. A couple things in our culture today, I hear so much focus on, are you in your comfort zone? Does it feel like you're operating in your giftings? Is this like the best place for you and your talents? That's not always what it's about, right? It's about being available. And a lot of times we see when the Lord asks us to do something, we're not necessarily going to feel totally comfortable and fully equipped.
Yeah.
I think that's where he's the strongest, right? He's not needed if we automatically are fully capable and fully equipped.
Yeah, that's
So
good.
we have to get used to saying yes, even when we're afraid. And even when we feel like that might not be my, the sweet spot for me.
Right.
The second thing is I've heard this somewhere. I don't remember where I heard it, but I want it to be that when God's looking around and looking for somebody to do a job, who is he going to know without a shadow of a doubt? When I say, Jennifer, do this, she's going to say yes, no matter what it is. Like, if you're not willing to say yes to whatever opportunity is in front of you and you're waiting for the perfect one, maybe he's not going to call on you. He's going to call on the ones who are available and ready to go. And he knows without a shadow of a doubt that we're going to say, yes, God, we're in.
Yeah.
Yeah, I said something yesterday. Remember, I said in the message, I said, authority follows obedience.
Yes.
I remember. Yeah.
Right.
That was
And a
good.
lot of times we want authority. We want impact. We want to be Billy Graham.
Yeah.
We want those things, but we're not willing to just be obedient in the little things, in the little steps.
Yeah.
What were we gonna say?
Yeah, I was just going to ask a different question because you talked about the mantle being heavy responsibilities. You guys have gone to some really tough places, right? So how do you stay grounded? How do you stay rooted when things become overwhelming? And maybe share about, I don't know, an experience from going to one of those really difficult places.
Yeah, you know what I realized? We got so into this and we, which is great. I love these type of conversations. We didn't explain for those, you guys
Don't
didn't
know.
explain what is Project Rescue.
Right.
Oh, okay.
And what is the work? What does network mean?
Yes.
Those kind of things.
Yeah.
So if you can go there
Yep.
and then answer her question.
Yeah.
Sure.
Yeah, one of you. Yeah,
Project
both of you.
Rescue is a ministry that works to rescue and restore survivors of sexual exploitation. So our focus.
What's the difference between sexual exploitation and sex trafficking? Because I've been using sex trafficking. Is that the wrong term?
They're interchangeable.
Okay.
Well, exploitation would encompass trafficking, whereas trafficking doesn't encompass everything. Exploitation could be anything, the umbrella of anything where you're sexually exploited, of which trafficking is included.
So prostitution, all those other kind of things.
Child
Got it.
pornography, right?
Yeah, because
Pictures,
technically
things like
trafficking is basically moving someone against their will to
Got it.
different
Okay.
places.
Okay. That was helpful. Sorry. Go.
No, totally. So our focus is women and children, although we do work with men as well who are in these same situations. We work in 16 countries around the world. We work with called by God national leaders in those 16 countries who felt the Lord speak to them, and they're going to do this no matter what, right? No matter if they have the resources they need, no matter what, they're going to be there. And we partner with them to do outreach, to set up vocational training centers, to set up schools, to plant churches near red light districts, to build aftercare homes for women who've come out of that lifestyle, to build safe homes for children that are being rescued from red light districts so that they can grow up in a safe place, receive an education. Our goal is to rescue them out of the place where they're at, but rescue is only the beginning of the journey. We can remove a woman or child from the life of exploitation, but if we don't work to holistically heal the entire person, body, mind, spirit, then the healing is not full. The healing is not complete. And so for us, we are committed to walk with them on that whole healing journey, whether that's 2 years, whether that's from when they're 3 and rescued till they're 18. We will even help them go to college and then become independent and start a new life. So that's really Project Rescue's goal, to help women, children, boys, girls become fully empowered daughters and sons of God.
And I say in this way, we take Jesus to some of the darkest places in the world. Like these are places that the gospel doesn't go without intentionality. Like people just don't stroll into the red light district to witness or things like that. They typically don't get to a church. So Project Rescue, I feel like, is uniquely called to go into some of these places to bring Jesus and to help. I don't want to say restore dignity that's been given away, restore dignity that was taken. Like a God-given call on those lives was taken from them. And we're just trying to help get that back, restore
really good.
that. So,
So to answer your question, I've been surrounded by the horrors of it since I was 12. And it can be easy to be overwhelmed by it if you focus on that. If you focus on the evil, if you focus on the statistics, if you focus on the magnitude of the problem, or even if you just walk through the red light district, the feeling of evil is overwhelming.
it's tangible. It's,
But for us, we have to refuse to focus on those things. We focus on the hope. I always say it's not the horror that drives us, it's the hope.
It's good.
When I was 12 and hearing all the grown-ups around me as, they were saying yes to this opportunity and we were trying to figure out, what does this look like? 28 years ago, trafficking wasn't a well-known word. Nobody knew what this was. So we were figuring it out as we went along. But I remember the word hope being just repeated. And even at 12 and not really understanding all of it, I just remember thinking, I don't really know if there really is hope for girls who have been through what they've been through. How could they fully heal and have a new hope-filled future? I don't get it. But if we showed up and if we were faithful, God was faithful to be their hope and to completely transform their lives. And so for us, that's what we focus on. I focus on the eyes of a 12-year-old girl that I remember seeing when I was 12 and just they looked like death, darkness, shame, and death. And now full of light.
Oh my gosh,
and
beautiful.
Their lives have been completely transformed. And if he can do that for one, he's done it for thousands. He can do it for millions. That's his plan for each and every one of them. So that's what keeps us in this every day when it feels hard and when it feels icky. we're going to keep showing up because he's asked us to, and
Yeah.
he keeps showing up, and he just keeps
Yeah.
changing lives.
I love that. And the eyes, right? The eyes are so
The
there's
eyes,
window to the soul.
Yeah.
So
Yeah.
powerful. And I'm already getting teared up just hearing that. But thank you for sharing that and helping, focus not on the horrors, but the hope. Love that.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah. Yeah.
Is there a story that if there's one story you would want people to hear, is there one you'd like to share of a little girl or something? Just that.
Yeah.
There's so many.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I'm
That's
kind
good.
of going,
That's
I'm
great.
going through the, for me, and just, this is more of a story of, hey, this is, when do you know that you're making an impact, or when do you know that the mission is actually being carried out?
Yeah, that's
so
good.
This is just a couple years ago, heading over to Southern Asia, and I'm going to be mindful about names and locations just for
Yes.
safety reasons. So forgive me for that. Heading over to Southern Asia, and I remember we had this big dinner set up, and the dinner was with graduates of our program.
Mm-hmm.
And I was so excited about that. For 16 years, I've watched some of these girls from 11, 12, 13 years old grow up, and now they're graduated, they're doing life. And so we had this big dinner together, and I'm sitting there at lunch, and across from me are two MBAs. To my right, there's a nurse. To my left, there's a lawyer. To diagonal to my left, someone in graphic design.
And just to clarify, these are girls who were rescued from the red light district, growing up under their moms' beds while their moms were servicing customers, when they were 5, 6, 7, that age.
The world would have said 16 years ago, they have zero chance.
Yeah.
And where they grew up would say they don't have any value.
Yeah.
And here I am sitting across from them, listening to what they're accomplishing in their jobs. I'm listening to how they're integrating faith into what they're doing in a country that is not Christian friendly.
Yeah.
And I remember, this is beautiful.
Yeah.
But it was after the lunch was over, I'll never forget, as I always do, I go to get the bill. So John goes over there, John pays. And I remember I went up to the guy and I was like, hey, and I went to hand the credit card, and he said, sir, it's been taken care of. And I said, that's not how this is supposed to work.
By
Like,
who?
why
Yeah.
is this taken care of? And there were 3 girls. I turned around and they were standing there, and they had picked up the bill.
Oh.
And they said, we know everything that you've done for us. Said, it's our turn now.
Oh, wow.
And I've never forgotten that, because it was just like,
Wow.
Yeah.
that was one of those moments where you're like, this is it.
You're making
like
us cry, John.
when the rescued become the rescuers,
Wow.
Oh,
when
that's so
those that
good.
have been
That's so
discipled
good.
start discipling,
Yep.
that's it.
And
Like,
now they're investing,
You
and
need to share that story tonight.
their hard-earned money in the ministry that
Yeah.
raised them,
Yeah. Wow.
and giving back so that girls in their same situations don't have to go through that.
Yeah.
It's pretty beautiful.
That's
Yeah.
extremely
those things also
powerful.
keep you grounded as well.
For
And
sure.
I remember saying to a pastor that was with me, I said, if I ever lose motivation to do this, remind me of today.
Yeah.
You know,
Yeah.
just so
Yeah.
good.
Yeah.
So
Because
good.
to your point, thank you for sharing that.
Yeah.
And I said we should share that tonight, because tonight we're going to have a vision dinner, legacy dinner. But, we know that, as leaders of large organizations, because Project Rescue ain't a small shop, right?
Yeah.
And Life Church ain't a small church. And so we can get sometimes we talk to each other and we're like, we spend days on the phone with lawyers, and we spend thing on contractors and planning, buildings and doing all these kind of things. And it's like, well, we're like, what is this all worth?
Yeah.
Like,
Yeah.
why are we doing all this? And you get frustrated, and people reject you, and they hurt you, and they say things and do all that kind of stuff. And then someone shares a story, or you sit across from someone, and they, or you're reminded of those moments and realize that it is about the one.
Yeah.
If we do all this
Yeah.
and we get to the heaven, and there's just one person who comes up to
Yeah.
us and says, thank you, it was worth all the millions of dollars. It was worth all the hours of pain. It was worth, and that's what, people need to understand too, as they give of their money, their time, their talent, all those kind of things, is it's worth it for the one. We've been trying to teach, we've been trying to teach not our church, but our leadership team, that sometimes they'll get, when I say leadership team, I mean like volunteers that leading a small group or doing something like, only 2 people came. And I'm like, we used to, you want big numbers, right?
Yeah.
You want big, and we're like, whoa, I'm trying to teach myself that. Well, those are two people that you have an opportunity to impact,
Yeah.
right? But I know you're going to say something.
Well, I wanted to
kept
say this
talking.
because this is so this is something that we say all the time, focus on the one.
Yep.
The fact of the matter is this: if you focus on the one consistently over time, that impacts entire communities.
Yes.
It just
The
does.
generations that follow them.
It just does. So Project Rescue
The
now.
impact we talked about yesterday, for those folks that go listen to it, watch it, the vision message,
Yes.
where I did the calculation and said,
That-
hey,
yeah,
the size of our
exactly.
church, if everybody impacted, blah, 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 look at the
Yes.
86,000 people could be impacted in one day.
Right.
Right? That's what you're talking about, right?
When
Correct.
Project Rescue
Yes.
began, I remember the first 37 girls, her parents would tell me all the time how many people said, it's just 37. There are millions. And then 10 years later, they're impacting thousands.
Yeah.
At what point can you say, that's a lie from the enemy
Yeah.
to get me?
to not
not
do
to not
anything.
do anything.
Right. To not do anything.
And it goes back to the yes, like what's your next best yes? Small as it is, the consistency
Yeah.
of those yeses will result. You'll get the one.
You will. And the one is worth it, right? One is worth everything that we're doing. But the beauty of God's plan is it doesn't stop there.
Right.
Because
It's
then
exponential.
It's
it's
exponential.
Yeah. The multiplication.
So how many, because then we kind of have to wrap this up, but what was I going to ask? I was going to ask you, how many, do you know the statistic over the last 28 years, how many girls or children, boys as well, have been,
And women.
have been impacted,
Sure.
if that's the right word, correct
That's
me if I'm
that's
wrong,
the perfect word. That's actually the word we
impacted
use.
by
Yes.
Project Rescue's ministry. Do you know the exact
We
number?
do.
Or close to the
We
number?
We do.
Yes.
We do. So right now, and we're tracking this very closely because the initial vision of Project Rescue, her dad threw out, God put on my heart. In that red light district 28 years ago, God put on her dad's heart to help impact the lives of 1 million girls.
Wow.
So he
And-
was standing there in the middle of the red light district, kind of looking around. There's hundreds of thousands of girls.
You're talking about
in-
28 years ago?
28 years ago.
In one district, there's hundreds of thousands. And he's looking around and he said that he felt the Lord say to him, David, I gave you 2 daughters, but would you believe me for 1 million more?
Wow.
Mm.
And he said, okay, I will. And so we've been tracking the last
The
few
million
years.
daughters thing, like that's been something that has been just sort of like something that we aspire to.
Sure,
and so
yeah.
we kind of pulled all the numbers
Does
last
Project
year.
Rescue share that story? Because I
We
don't.
do.
This is the first time I've heard that, to be honest. Now, I think I know I read your dad's book. It's
Sure.
probably in there.
It might be in
may
there.
not be.
I think
yeah.
we share verbally a lot, but I don't know if it's in writing anywhere.
Yeah. So all that to say is at this point, we're at around 864,000 lives that have been impacted. Now, I want to be clear. That's impact through some of our initiatives. That's whether it's through our healthcare programs, our education
They've come
programs.
through our vocational training center. So that's not like
Like, I
they've
don't
been
want to make
in
it
a
seem
home.
like,
Right,
hey,
right,
we
right.
864,000 people we've pulled out of the
But
red
you've
light
touched-
district.
yes,
We've
touched.
impacted, had a touch point with them in some way,
Mm-hmm.
and literally thousands and thousands that have come through, lived in our homes, received holistic restorative care. So yeah, it from 37 girls year one to now, literally every year, tens of thousands of lives are being impacted.
Incredible.
Yeah,
Incredible.
it's beautiful.
Let me ask this last question, and then we'll wrap it up. And I want to read it because I think it's that good to read it. As a church, right, Life Church, we're shifting from exponential to go. The vision from exponential to go, and it's shifting is a really good word because it's not a change. It's not a we changed our mind. It's a shift, right? Just kind of like when you're stick shift driving a car, you're just moving in speed. What's one step you'd both encourage someone to take to move from awareness to action?
It's great.
Just one.
Maybe two.
Yes.
Just one.
Just one.
Just one.
Oh man.
All right.
One for you
Okay.
and one
Okay.
for you.
Okay, got it. We got this,
Yeah.
right? I'm gonna do the one you do.
You've
the
been married 18 years.
18.
years.
Yeah. So you
Okay,
should be able to do
so
this.
mine would be pray. And that might sound simple, but we sometimes diminish our impact of our prayers. We think I'm just saying a prayer.
Yeah.
More happens in the spirit world, and God does more than we could ever imagine when we engage in prayer. So we have what we call prayer partners. If you go on our website, projectrescue.com, you can sign up to be a prayer partner. And that is a group that prays together. We send out monthly updates with specific requests and specific details. So you get kind of a peek behind the curtain of what is needed around the network. Here's a crisis in this area. Here's a need that we have here. Join us and pray. We give little devotional videos, whatever. When an army of God's people is praying together, things are moving. So prayer is not a passive thing. Prayer is an active thing, and it's a step of going. It is a step of doing something. So we need prayer more than anything else.
I would say I don't know, for everyone listening, I don't know what God has put in their hearts or called them to. What I can say for sure is he's not called anyone to do nothing. He's called everyone to do something. So interestingly enough, when people come up to us and say, man, I have such a heart for anti-trafficking, what should I do next? And I think they might assume that we'd say, here's what you should do to connect with Project Rescue. The first thing we say is, what's happening locally? In your own backyard, right here in the valley, what's happening? And typically the response we get is, I'm not sure. And I say, start there. And it goes back to the next yes. And if it's not anti-trafficking, that's your calling. It's something ministry. Again, God calls us to something. What is it at Life Church that God's calling me to? Is it kids ministries? Is it youth ministries? I promise you it's something. And I also can almost guarantee it may not be comfortable for you. But so her mom would always say this, it's time to move past talking to action. So people talk that like, hey, I want to do this. I want to do that. Are you willing to do that menial task, that thing that doesn't have the spotlight on it?
The hidden things.
The hidden things. So I guarantee you the first best step is probably going to be something hidden that no one else sees but your Father. But he's going to say, well done, good and faithful servant.
That's good.
Here's the next breadcrumb. Here's the
really
next thing I have for you. So
That's awesome.
Well, thank you.
This was so good. I feel like we could sit here for hours and talk. And talk. And you guys, thank you for your just for your yeses, for what you're doing, for how you're showing up for the voiceless, your voice to for the voiceless, and just bringing hope.
Let us jump in there too, because this is a symbiotic relationship. We can't do what we do without churches like Life Church. It works because we tell our ministry leaders on the ground, you do what you do best, which is help rescue and restore women, and let us find churches that have a heart for this, and we'll help supercharge those efforts. So thank you both for the vision.
This is our favorite kind of partnership, right? When we're really in it together, and you're not just giving, you're praying, you're going. You sent a team.
You've been there. You've sent a team.
You are walking with us in this. It's not just like you give once and then you forget about it. So thank you guys for your investment.
Appreciate it.
Oh, no, we appreciate it.
And
we'll make sure that the team puts in the show notes things about, information on Project Rescue. But really appreciate you guys. Love you guys. Appreciate all you're doing, cheering you on. Truly, you guys are heroes in the kingdom, and the future is bright when we do things together like this. So thanks for being on.
Appreciate it.
Yeah.
Thanks.